episode of Thoughts On. Today we're discussing our thoughts on design. I'm here with my guest, Rebecca Harris, who's a third-year industrial design student here at RIT. She's a close friend and an up-and-coming designer. And today, we're going to be asking her some questions. So this past summer, you were able to partake in an internship after 2 years of experience within the school. So how prepared did you feel after with about half your education being able to join the workforce?
So I felt prepared in some ways and not others. I think when I first started the internship, I definitely didn't know some of like the lingo that was used a lot in industry. Some of like technical applications, things that would be sent to manufacturers. Like I didn't necessarily understand a lot of those things, mostly just because I hadn't hit that part of what was taught in our program quite yet. But I would say that I had a general understanding of a lot of the different like programs, so anything that had to do with Adobe Suite or even some like 3D modeling software. I understood some of those things. So a lot of hard skills, but not necessarily like soft skills, which is more how you interact with coworkers and things like that, which I definitely gained through experience in the industry. So that was awesome.
Nice. Nice. So, when working, is there like a rule or anything that you follow, or like anything that like whether you learned it in school or not, that like whenever you get in the design process of a certain product that you automatically apply it to, like something that like goes through your head, anything like that you use?
I think that empathetic design is like the number one thing that I try to consider when designing a product. What that means for me is that anytime you're designing a product, immediately consider the user. Who will be using it? How will they be using it? And so basically making sure that the consumer, no matter what product you're designing, is happy with your product. So for me, that means, while I may have preconceived notions of what someone may want in a product, that might be completely wrong. That might just be me. And I obviously want to, when you're designing a product, you want to please the most amount of people you can with that product. So I try to interview people as early on in the design process as possible, so that I'm not coming up with ideas that I like and I get attached to before I realize that that's not what the consumer wants at all. And so that's definitely like a big part of my design process, is making sure that I have empathy for the people that I'm trying to help. And that may seem like silly because, if I'm designing, I don't know, like light switches, it doesn't feel like you need to like have everyone, tell you what's right and wrong about current light switches. Like you should just design it in a way that you think looks pretty. But in reality, if somebody really doesn't like, the sound that a light switch makes, like, and I don't care, it matters what they think more than what I think, because I'm not designing for myself, I'm designing for others. So I think it's big to really consider the user as early on in the design process as possible.
Do you have a favorite part of the design process?
It's kind of hard. I think everyone's favorite part of the design process is like finishing the product, because everyone likes to see their work complete, and like, going into production. That's like the most exciting part about being a designer. Well, I've had very few things actually go into production. I can assume that would be somebody's like their favorite part of the design process. I think for me personally, I really like actually visualizing a product. So while, I don't feel like my strength is necessarily in my research or in my ideation sketching or things in that area, I definitely love actually bringing it into modeling and bringing it into SolidWorks and seeing it like genuinely take shape. Because I think there's things that you learn with either hands-on modeling or throwing it in SolidWorks or a different CAD program that allow you to evaluate issues with the product that you never would have seen had you not seen it in a 3D space. So you can kind of deceive yourself, I think, sometimes with your sketches, that like they're better than they are, or the product is more feasible than it actually is. But you really get down to like the like grittiest part of the design when you're trying to bring it into a 3D space, and then you're definitely trying to manufacture it. So I would say that while that's one of the more difficult parts of the design process for me, I definitely get most excited when I see it in reality.
That makes sense. All right, I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, Rebecca, and good luck as you finish the rest of the semester.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you learned a little bit, and hope to see you next week on the next episode.